watching Channel Y. Channel Y.
Prime Minister, welcome.
It's a pleasure to be here. It's a pleasure to be back.
Online, SouthAsianDaily.com, the biggest South Asian media group. Y Media.
Hello everyone, my name is Jadoo Jaswal. I'm the group editor at Y Media. As we all know, October 24th, that's the day for election right across Ontario as far as the municipal elections are concerned. And for a vibrant democracy, it's very important that we have an open exchange of views. For this, Y Media has been organizing debates, whether it was a federal election, provincial election, and now here we are with the municipal elections. These debates will be broadcasted on Y Media's different platforms. First of all, Channel Y, which is broadcasted on Rogers 857, Bell 828, Telus 2418, Ignite 707, and we will be also broadcasting all these debates on Y+. You can also log on to our mobile app, Y Media TV, where you can download all the debates. At this point, I'd like to welcome all the candidates. Andrea, a very warm welcome. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. Equine, a very warm welcome.
I'm doing good, thank you.
Martin, welcome, sir.
Thank you very much.
Raman, welcome.
Thank you, sir. Excellent.
Amib, welcome, sir.
Classic.
Sasikal. And just for our viewers' benefit and for all our candidates, I'm going to explain the format. It's a very simple format. Each one of you get 2 minutes for your opening remarks, and then it'll be a Q&A question, one Q&A question, and after that it'll be an open discussion. During the Q&A, each one of you get 2 minutes to respond, and with the open discussion, it'll be total 4 to 5 minutes approximately. Anybody can jump in anytime. Feel free to raise your hand or join the conversation. After that, we'll have 1 minute of closing remarks. All good? All set? Any questions?
No.
Okay, thank you very much. So, first of all, I'll start with Andrea. So, each one of you get 2 minutes for your opening remarks. Andrea.
Thank you so much for hosting this debate. I'm pleased to be here with fellow candidates running in this election. My name is Andrea Barrett. I'm running to be the regional councillor in wards 3 and 4. I was raised in Brampton. I come from a large family, and most of my family, including extended family, are still here. Brampton is where my mom decided to retire, because this is where we grew up. So we want to make sure that she is in a city that is clean and safe and kind. What I've noticed in this beautiful city is that Brampton has changed. Brampton has changed in so many amazing ways. I remember going to Gage Park, listening to concerts with my grandmother, or watching baseball games at David Suzuki Park with my nephew. Brampton is a wonderful city, great food and great people. It has changed, but in some ways, it has changed in ways that need to be improved. We've increased levels of crime. Our city is not as clean as it used to be, and our residents are constantly complaining about illegal rooming houses and not getting their message heard at City Hall. They're asking for a change. They're asking for new councillors with new ideas and fresh perspectives, people who are accessible and people who will get the job done. I am running in this election to do just that. I want Brampton to be a place where my mom feels safe, where my family feels safe, and where your family feels safe. There's a lot to do, so we need to make sure we elect councillors who are ready to roll up their sleeves and get the work done. On October 24th, I look forward to you all going to the polls and voting for me, Andrea Barrett.
Thank you very much, Andrea. And Equine.
Hi, thank you so much for this opportunity and to Y Media for making this happen. I'm Aquin George. I'm running for regional councillor as well in wards 3 and 4. I am a Bramptonian by choice and not by chance. I love the city. I see the potential that the city has. It has everything from talent, the proximity to the airport. Geographically, we are right in the middle of all the hustle bustle of what's happening around us. We have the room to grow economically, to bring in revenues through commerce. And we need to make sure that we come up with ways to reduce the tax burdens on residents. And that is what I'm proposing during these elections. I believe as regional councillor, I will focus on the big picture so that city staff can actually be enabled and empowered to do the work that they have been hired to do. I want to create this opportunity for our families to live in a very crime-free society. I want our seniors to not feel vulnerable the way they did over the last 4 years. We are coming out of COVID, and this is an opportunity for us to create the kind of advantages that Brampton should be receiving and its people should be receiving. And I would like to, for when you vote on 24th October, and if you're busy that day on any advanced polling date, please remember Aquin George for Regional Councillor. Thank you.
Thank you, Aquin. Martin.
Thank you very much. My name is Martin Medeiros, and I'm seeking re-election. First of all, I would want to thank the candidates for having the courage to jump in the political process. It's not an easy thing, and it's great to hear new, fresh ideas and have good debate. Certainly, from my perspective, being born and raised in Brampton, and I live in the community. I live in Wards 3 and 4, so I'm one of your neighbors. I experience the challenges that we have, and I've also been able to champion great change in our city. Our city is facing unprecedented challenges. We're the fastest growing municipality in Canada from big municipalities, and that brings challenges. As a high growth community, not only we're trying to address problems of today and challenges of today, but we have to think future. We have to think and be ready. So you need someone who has the leadership, who has the experience, and someone who you can trust. One thing that you can look at what's happening over the last 4 years, someone not only the regional councillor, but my colleagues recognize me as a leader in terms of voting me for Deputy Mayor, Chair of Economic Development at the City of Brampton and Planning, and also Chair of Human Services at the Region Appeal, and I have the honor to represent Brampton on the Police Services Board. So many hats, many responsibilities, but my sole focus is really to work on behalf of the residents because I'm also one of your neighbors.
Thank you. Mr. Raman.
Yeah, my name is Raman Vasudev. I am also a candidate from Ward 3 and 4 for General Councillor. The reason for me to contest this is that I find lots of things are going in the city, and most of people are not happy with that. Everybody is looking for a change, and I ask them why you need a change. They say they are fed up the way kind of the current administration is working. They're all fighting among themselves that they are not controlling things and whatever, and whenever they decide something, and at the end they change the scenario also, like firing some integrity commission chief kind of stuff, and which is, people are not totally confused. They are so fed up with the current council that they want something with more new people, with new faces, they know better how to challenge all these things, and they should be accountable also, So I will request all of you, if on 24th of October, you can vote for me, and you will see the difference when I will be your regional councillor. Thank you. Have a nice day.
Thank you. Amik.
Hi everyone, Namaste, Sat Sri Akal, Adab to all the listeners. My name is Amik Singh. I am running for Regional Council for Wards 3 and 4. I am a registered nurse. I serve everyone here in Pia. I live in the ward as well. In addition to that, over the last crazy years of COVID, I've had the privilege of serving Brampton. I've had the privilege of serving Peel Region. I was part of the Social Support Task Force for City of Brampton, part of the Transit Committee for the last 4 years, and also the challenges that we faced in our healthcare crisis, was part and led the Fair Deal for Brampton campaign, which led to the funding that we received. But we're not all the way done there yet. We need to make sure that due diligence is done and that we are resident-led, community-focused, and feedback-based. Our community needs to have accountability in terms of how decisions are made, and engagement with the city, and residents of Brampton, Bramptonians need to feel that they are heard and their ideas, their action, and their concerns are validated. This is something that I promise to do and I will continue to do if elected. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, and this brings to our Q&A session. So my first question is regarding, I want to understand what is your vision for the city of Brampton if you get elected as a councillor. Aquin, we'll start with you. 2 minutes for you.
So for me, I want to bring the Vision 2040 platform to life. We have created the plan both in terms of how we can house more people, because our city is growing and it's growing at a rampant pace. I want to make sure that we come up with a way to make that plan a reality. There are enough plans collecting dust in City Hall is what I believe. And we need someone who can come in, shake the dust off those plans and bring them to action. When we are creating these high density structures, or if medium density, we need to ensure that we are planning for the next 50 years and not just for the next 5 years. What do I mean by that? I mean that we have to ensure there is enough space for room to grow our roads, room to grow our transit, room to grow things that we don't even notice, like say the stormwater drains or underground pipes. These are things that we have to plan and execute accordingly, because these buildings that we are constructing today will be there for 50 years, maybe longer. We need to make sure that we save our green spaces. We need to ensure that our history is not affected, our architecture isn't affected, and everything we do is done in a cohesive manner so that Bramptonians feel proud of a city that they live in, because it is going to change over the next 10, 20, 30 years. The decisions we take today, they may look innocuous, but the impact on it can be long-term. I have lived in different cities around the world before choosing Brampton to be home for my family. And I want to bring those lessons that I've learned, both the good ones and the bad ones, to ensure that the decisions we take today helps everyone. It helps the poor, it helps the vulnerable, it helps families, it helps seniors, and this is what I have my plan for the city going forward.
Thank you, Akwin. Martin.
Thank you. In terms of quality of life for residents of Wards 3 and 4, that's been my focus. That's been my focus for the last years, to continue in ensuring a platform that works for you. One is ensuring crime and safety. I sit on the police board. If I was to, as I've stated before, many calls we receive to our policing 911 are not police related. They're more mental health. We developed a mental health strategy to deal with it. We've had auto theft. We developed an auto theft strategy. We're being successful in addressing it. When it comes to crime, serious crime, there's a thing called Crime Severity Index. Out of population of over 1 million people, we're the safest community in Canada. But that doesn't mean we should rest on our laurels. We know that there's petty crime. We have to invest in programs such as a motion I moved to get youth hubs, the first ones in Brampton. And what are these youth hubs? Because we want to ensure that youth have an opportunity to get them off the streets, get them in programs. So we have to invest in programs that ensure that people are being active, that people feel part of engaged in the community and getting the services they need. Another thing that we're struggling in Wards 3 and 4, and I know it's a challenge to your quality of life, is property standards, and it's around illegal dwellings. And that's something that we have sent over the last 3 or 4 years in terms of additional bylaw officers putting towards our budget. We've done 4 property tax freezes, but at the same time, we've ensured that we haven't compromised your quality of life and ensuring good property standards and ensuring that the neighborhood and community you live in, you can enjoy and live and play. One thing that we also have to address is job creation. Majority of Bramptonians leave our community to go work, and that's something I will continue to work on and relentlessly as I was the chair of economic development to ensure that we explore the innovation corridor, and we're building an innovation hub around attracting from the world innovative and technology-based companies that want to come here and set up right in Brampton. The last thing I would say is appropriate housing. We have a lot of development. We're a high-growth community. We need to find places for people to live.
Wish we had more time, but I'm sure we'll come back to you once again. Raman.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, my vision is very clear. I wanted to make, first of all, the whole council more accountable and more transparent from the public point of view. Because I have seen that in many cases, people are not aware of what are the rules, what are the Canadian ethics, what are the Canadian values. People love to come to Canada and they wanted to improve their lifestyle. But when they come here, I see my younger brothers here, they are involved in indecent activities and then they are in trouble. But when I ask them what is the reason, they say we don't know about the rules and regulations. So what I will make it sure that first of all, any newcomer whosoever comes in the city here, they must be for first 2 weeks, should be aware of the rules and regulations of the Canadian values and ethics, so that they know what they have to do and what they can't do it. So this can be done either way through the government, advertisement on the television every day on different slots, or in the community centers telling them to join there. But I will make it sure it is mandatory for all the new ones that for first 15 days they must know the values of the Canadian life. Then definitely we need them. We cannot survive without the newcomers. They are our future. We love them, but we don't want that anybody is going deporting from here for something. But when I ask them, they say we don't know about it. So I'm not in favor of deporting anybody from here, but I am in favor of educating them in the beginning. That will be my top priority. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. Amik?
Thank you so much for the opportunity. This election, much like every election, is about residents and the taxpayers. So unfortunately, for the past couple of years, we've seen a lot of indecisiveness. We've not seen anything to completion that needs attention. When it comes to our healthcare, the first priority and one of the biggest indicators of quality of life is access to healthcare. We've been on a very long crusade to get another hospital. We're at that point now, but again, city needs to do their job and Osler needs to do their job to make sure that there is planning and execution of that. In addition to that, everybody talks about a third hospital. Even with the phase 2 expansion, we're going to be short around 400 beds, acute beds. So the city needs to allocate land for that third hospital, cement and do their job, because everything in government goes in roadblocks, and if there's any roadblocks that aren't addressed on the municipal level, there's nothing that the federal and provincial government can do to remedy that. It is our job to do our homework and make sure our plans are submitted on time and the costing and all the assessments are done. In addition to that, community safety is a huge concern for everyone. The community safety well-being plan that the Region of Peel has put forward, that the City of Brampton has put forward with the Nurturing Neighborhoods program, needs to be sustained. It needs to be put out all across. During COVID, I had the privilege of running the Peel Isolation Center. That responsibility was given to me because there was not enough space in our healthcare system. We converted 3 hotels into continuous care units. 2 nurses for 120 beds times 3. That's not a playbook. Nobody gave me a book. I just went out there and did it. But what I learned, I thought I was going to do chest and lung assessments. I ended up doing withdrawal management, domestic violence assessments, and trauma assessments, which made me understand the level of challenges that we're facing in Brampton and why we need to make sure that the community safety well-being plan is implemented, because culturally competent care, culturally competent government will only come if things actually happen. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Yeah, Andrea.
I'm going to be honest. The reputation in the city of Brampton has been tarnished. When I speak to our neighbors, my family, people outside of Brampton, they don't look and respect Brampton like they used to. Brampton is a wonderful city, wonderful people, wonderful things going on, but our reputation has been tarnished. They talk about our council and how there's no collaboration and we're not moving forward or getting the work done. What we need to do, the very first vision, is rehabilitate the vision and the reputation of this great city. I want everyone to be proud that they're a Bramptonian. I'm proud to be here. When I think of the vision, imagine waking up in the morning, going to work or bringing your child to school and not being concerned if your car was broken into or if your car is still in your driveway. Getting to school or work easily, be it the LRT, Brampton Transit, which is a phenomenal service that we should be very proud of, driving or taking a bike or simply walking to get wherever you're going to. Getting there easily and effortlessly, going to work. A Brampton that allows you to work and live in the very same city. A city that attracts fantastic work opportunities, large corporations who want to come to Brampton because they know we have the talent and the housing for them and their corporations. People who live in Brampton making a great wage, students who live in Brampton being able to go to school, post-secondary education in the very same city that they work in. When I think of my vision for Brampton, that's what it looks like. Having post-secondary education here, having fantastic high-paying jobs here, and affordable housing for the people that need it. A safe and clean and harmonious Brampton, which we all deserve.
All right, thank you so much. And now we're going to move on to our open discussion session, in which I'm going to bring on topics, different topics, and I'll feel free to jump in. We'll be doing this discussion for approximately 4 to 5 minutes on each topic. The first topic is crime. I don't think so we'll be wasting our viewers' time in discussing what is obvious. We all know there have been many break-ins, carjackings, and so many other issues. I want to listen to the ideas. If you get re-elected or elected to the council, what will be you bringing on the table? What are your suggestions how we can reduce the crime in Brampton? Who wants to go first? Yeah, go ahead, Amit.
So as I was mentioning, thank you so much, Yudhvir, for the question. The Community Safety Wellbeing Plan is a robust plan that accounts for policing services, social services, and also community safety. The challenge that we're facing right now, the root cause of it is addictions. We see viral videos go of cars bumping into trees, going into houses, and Wards 3 and 4 is particularly targeted in that area. The reason is impaired driving, the reason is substances, and a lack of support system that the community needs. In order to effectively deal with that, we need to ensure that we sustain programming that come from social supports, that we take the recommendation from professionals that are asking us to make sure that we have the Nurturing Neighborhoods program implemented. We have bump sticks, permanent or temporary speed bumps, red light cameras, studies for GIS, so road safety is accounted for. Other municipalities have cemented best practices. Here in Brampton, we're not implementing those best practices. My job as councillor would be to do that, because this is the biggest priority that we need to address. And the roadmap's made for us, we just need action. And that's what I'm going to do, listening to the residents to see which actions they want me to do. And more importantly, all of the suggestions I will make will be based on evidence and science.
Please feel
I kind of agree with Amik here, but I want to highlight a point that Martin made earlier. He said that Peel region is probably the safest regions if you look at any other place in Canada with over 1 million population. He's actually right over there. But the minute you break it down to just Brampton, you realize that our homicide numbers are so high. It's becoming safer because we add in Caledon and Peel and Mississauga into it. But Brampton on its own does not feel safe at all, which is why you started the question by saying we don't even need to delve into the obvious. Just this month alone, over 100 cars were stolen, is what I read in the media reports. So we have to come in, and Peel is a regional issue, and we are here aspiring to be regional councillors. My job when I go in over there is to make sure that I speak with the regional police board and try and engage with them and help them understand that a safer Brampton means a safer Peel region, and a safer Peel region is a safer GTA. Today, all of our police forces are stretched to the point where they have to target those complex gangs of thieves, which means petty criminals are being left alone, and there's no time to reform them. And if we don't help them at that stage, they will turn into hardened criminals. Our job is to try and get the right amount of policing for our city. Our job is to make sure that Brampton can regain its lost glory, and that will only happen if we can engage with the people who are on the Peel Police Services Board and make Brampton's voice clear.
I'd like to add that when speaking with people, like Aquin said, people don't feel safe. There are people who won't go for a walk or to the park unless they have a dog or unless somebody's with them. I don't want that for myself, my family, or for anybody else. We want to make sure people feel safe. So it's also important to think of other types of crimes or violence, like intimate partner violence, which unfortunately has high rates in our city. We need to make sure we're doing a lot of education and protecting all of our residents. We need to do better when it comes to intimate partner violence.
So it's great, just jumping on that, and I thank you for candidates recognizing first the good work we're doing at the City of Brampton. We're the only municipality to really implement our plans when it comes to safing neighborhoods and nurturing neighborhoods, and we were certainly on the leaders. Based on the last comment, and I thank the candidate for raising, we at Peel Regional Police just developed this year an intimate partner unit dedicated to intimate partner violence, because I agree that is an issue, and we unfortunately saw a spike in it when it came during COVID. The other part which I want to stress, one of the challenges with policing, when you add 100 police officers, you're looking at 1% increase on tax property. So from a population perspective, in terms of representation, we're very low. So we need to add more police officers, fully supportive, and that's what I've been doing. That's the way I've been voting for the last 8 years. But the issue is not just throwing money. One is also preventative programs. We have to work with civil society. We have to work with our faith-based groups. We have to develop preventative measures and invest in opportunities to engage the community, to give them the supports they need. The last thing I would say, again, and this is a salient point, Peel policing, many of the calls we receive are not policing matters. They are mental health matters. They are issues, societal issues. So we need to free up police to do what they do best, which is policing, getting them more presence. So that is something that we've done, and I recognize that perception and reality, people do not feel safe. I had my car stolen off my driveway. I've had my car broken into last week. So certainly as one of your neighbors, as someone who lives in the community, family and friends live in the community, we have to address it. We continue to address it, but it's not just throwing police.
Thank you. Wish you had more time. 10 seconds for both of you. Ramanji, 10 seconds.
Well, I will see that police is doing their best here, whatever they can do, but it's not done whatever is required there. So I will go by not the everything is left on the police only. We should have a step 2 also, backing the police also. Like in the civil, we can pick up some people from civilians to help the police in that, so that we can have a better coverage now.
Yeah, thank you. 10 seconds.
Just add to that, I think the plans are on paper, they're not implemented fully yet. We have organizations like Roots, Hope 24/7, PCHS, Indus, all of them have done work and they're putting programming forward, but unfortunately they're not sustained. So I want to make sure that the programs that the educators and the professionals are putting forward, they're actually sustained and we don't lose pilot projects that have developed good practices.
Thank you. This was a very important topic. Wish we had more time. Quickly moving on to our next open discussion topic, that will be hospital in Brampton. So my question is very straightforward and simple. What is your idea? Do we need 1 hospital, 2 hospitals, 3, 4? You want to put a number to that? And what are we doing to advocate, as far as the provincial, because one of the #1 items as far as the provincial budget and the federal budget is concerned, it is healthcare. But are we doing enough? Are we having enough discussions with them? Where are we in terms of hospital in Brampton? Yeah, you wish to hand first. Go
Thank you so much for the question. As a healthcare professional, as a nurse, and somebody that has talked to both Premier Ford 4 days ago in Queen's Park about healthcare and Prime Minister Trudeau about cancer screening and rates in that nature, and leading the charge for Fair Deal for Brampton in 2018 after night shifts and day shifts, going to parks, getting people to sign petition that asked 3 things. Central West funding increases to provincial standard. Phase 2 is completed for Peel Memorial and a 3rd hospital. The second ask that we made for our Fair Deal for Brampton is actually honored by the province last year. In a financial budget, you see $1 billion given to Brampton. Unfortunately, the reason why I ran and my frustration came from this contentious point is that City of Brampton and William Osler have not submitted their plans. If they do not submit their plans by 2026, when construction is slated to start, guess what happens to that $1 billion? It goes back to the province. We don't get that second emergency, and the 3rd hospital, city has not even allocated land at this point in time. So this is something what I mean by roadblocks that at the municipality level we need to do. And you look at your tax bill, you see the health levy is there. That health levy is there to account for the growth, but we need to take the money and also give accountability to the taxpayer as well. That's my stance on healthcare. What we need to do, the asks were clear in 2018, they're clear now, that phase 2 needs to be completed by 2026. Construction needs to be started by 2026, so we submit those plans in time to match what the province is asking us at this time.
Yeah. So I'll jump in, and one of the false narratives is, let's be very clear, this is a provincial responsibility. So the MPPs are the ones who are responsible for healthcare. So this false narrative that you're going to go to the city and you're going to be pushing it. We've been advocating, so I really appreciate the candidate who's participated in the Fair Deal that we launched at the City of Brampton. And collecting the signatures was fantastic, because that's exactly what we were trying to do and advocate. In terms of, I was at the groundbreaking with Premier Ford, and I can assure you when we bring the first cancer treatment center in Peel Region is an important aspect of how successful we've been with our advocacy. I think the 3rd aspect is also that we do have a designated area and land identified when it comes to the 3rd hospital. So I think when it comes to making it very clear, and let's not fool the viewers and let's not fool the residents. At the end of the day, it's a provincial responsibility. We advocate, but at the end of the day, when it comes to, for example, the health tax levy, I was the one, along with my colleague, Councillor Fortini, who ensured that council contributed their community portion to ensure we can get funding for the hospital. Without that tax levy, which is a dedicated part of our budget, goes towards the hospital. So that is putting money where our mouth is, that is showing action, and that is showing leadership, because it's not an easy thing to do. Many members of council were against it, and we stood up to say, we want healthcare in our community, and that's what I fought to put the money towards it.
Yeah, I'll come back to you, Raman. Yeah, I'll come back.
I agree with all of you. We definitely need a 3rd hospital, but we don't have a staff for the 1st hospital. The hospital, the existing hospital doesn't have a staff. Let's fulfill the staff first there for the hospital. They are closing their emergency shift because they are out of staff. So nobody's thinking on that. I love to make a 3rd hospital, when I don't have a staff for the 1 hospital, how I will run the 3rd hospital?
I understand where you're coming from, but most of these things that we are talking about today is not going to happen tomorrow. It takes time. If we start working on a 3rd hospital today, it'll take 10 to 15 years for us to actually get that hospital. Let's take an example for Peel Memorial. Peel Memorial is a 200-year-old institution. Yeah, it is still an urgent care center. We've got funding, but the funding clearly states that we are going to get the 250, 300 extra beds only by the year 2027. There is no commitment from the province for an ER. Our job is to advocate, is to engage with people. At the end of it, there are overlaps, as we are putting 10% of municipal budgets towards any hospital. We have a Peel Regional Healthcare Officer. All of these things matter. We've got people like Amik who are supporting it on the ground level. 2016, land was allocated on Mississauga Road for a third hospital. But that is it. We haven't moved much, or we haven't pushed the boundaries much on that front. We need to come in and make sure that we don't wait for the second hospital to get over and for the nursing staff shortage to be fixed before we do something else. All work can happen parallelly. They are not one after the other. So we have to ensure that A, we try and fix the staffing shortage. 2, we try and fix the second hospital and make sure that we engage the MPPs so that we can get the ER. And thirdly, the third hospital, let's lay the groundwork. At least the paperwork, the planning, let's submit it.
10 seconds. Yeah, you want to add something?
Yeah. What Brampton residents want to know is that the councillors that they have elected are on their side and are advocating for them. Some things fall out of the jurisdiction, but making sure that the municipal council works collaboratively and successfully with all levels of government. They want to know that they have a champion on their side, someone who will be there to listen to their concerns and advocate and go to bat for them. And when it comes to a shortage of hospital staff, you're absolutely right. Anything that we can do to advocate for internationally or foreign trained healthcare professionals getting certification or being able to work in healthcare would help. So our job is just to advocate, listen to our residents, and make them feel heard, and whatever we can do to move things forward.
All right, just 10 seconds.
Perfect. Speaking of false narratives, the city's responsibility is to submit plan. I give the example of Mississauga. They're getting a $10 billion investment. They've already submitted their schematics. They've already allocated land. The construction is going to start, and they're going to get their 4th hospital. That's happening in Mississauga because the bureaucrats at Mississauga are doing a good job in making sure things are submitted in time. We have $1 billion that the province has already announced and given to us. $1 billion. You can look at the reports, you can look at the budget last year, provincially, it's been allocated. But the fine print there is construction needs to start by 2026. Where's the plan that William Osler hasn't submitted yet? Why is the City of Brampton talking to William Osler to submit the plans for the Phase 2 expansion?
So again, I think this is, again, when we try to mix responsibilities. The City of Brampton has its responsibility for providing our community share. William Osler has been addressed with the money. William Osler has a responsibility. They're working with us. Plans will be submitted. But the Mississauga situation, again, it's not bureaucrats at the City of Mississauga who are doing this. And it would be a lie to tell residents that that's what's happening. And unfortunately, we're finding the critical shortage we're talking about staffing is across the province. So let's not kid ourselves that this is acute to the City of Brampton, and let's not kid ourselves that this is bureaucrats at the city, because that's not the way it works. And this is a false what we're telling residents. So we advocate, we do our responsibility, but at the end of the day, it's provincial jurisdiction. Thank you.
Thank you. And I think we've got to move to our next topic, otherwise we'll have to leave out some topics. So next topic is very important. That's university. We do not have a university. On my radio shows, on our TV talk shows, we always listen a lot about a university, and there has been some money also spent, but where is the university? Everyone is asking. You raise your hand first and we'll come to your own.
Sure. The first thing I would say is, again, we have Algoma University, and I'm proud to have Algoma University downtown Brampton. City of Brampton actually put money towards 4 years ago, and they've expanded. They've done some great work. They've attracted some a lot more students, and they came to a plan. They came to council just a couple of weeks ago to present a bigger plan because they would like to be a tenant in our innovation center because they're growing their programs. They're growing their registration. We also got the announcement of the new medical school at Toronto Metropolitan. And I'm really proud of that. It's something that it's really going to be transformative. It really aligns well with what we're doing with the Peel Memorial phase, and we really want to build a healthcare strategy from an economic perspective. I've been in talks with, as part of the Chair of Economic Development with pharmaceutical companies who also want to come in. And so there's a lot of excitement there. But to say that we don't have a university, we're right now in discussions with other colleges and universities which are not privy, to public consumption. But what I would say is that we do have to respect that we have great institutions like Sheridan College, very proud Sheridan Colleges in Wards 3 and 4, Ward 4, but they have many of their staff, many of their people work at Sheridan College, so we should be proud. And they offer university degree programs. So we have Sheridan College, we have Toronto Metropolitan University offering classes right downtown Brampton, and then after we have Algoma, which I'm very proud of the work they've done. So we got to recognize that, we got a medical school coming. We also continue to have talks with Toronto Metropolitan University. When I was on the University Blue Ribbon panel, we were successful 8 years ago in 2017 to get an announcement that Toronto Metropolitan would come in. Unfortunately, the provincial government pulled the plug on that, but we've had some programming in the medical school, is much needed excitement. And the last thing I would say, I'm in talks right now, working with my federal counterpart in bringing a police training cyber security institution right here in the city of Brampton, hopefully right in Ward 3.
Yeah, we'll come back to you, Ramanji, and then yourself, and then you. Ramanji.
No, my question to the current administration is that we are doing lots of things, and we heard lots of things about university coming. And I remember one thing that two times in the past, the Vice Chancellor of University came here to meet our current administration, and nobody showed up, So, I mean, we request the people to set up the university here, then they come for meeting and people don't show up.
Is that true?
Yeah, it's true.
I don't know where.
It's true. Yeah, it's true.
I'm not going to.
It's true.
I've attended my meetings. So
If I can add to that,
what institution?
I've heard from different sources that Guelph Humber was the university that City of Brampton had a meeting with, and of course people didn't show up that were responsible for that, and that is a challenge that if we have other institutional partners here that are looking for space in downtown Brampton and in Brampton at large, we're supposed to be the cyber catalyst capital for Canada. As other candidates have mentioned, there are ongoing talks, but execution matters, right? Blue ribbon panels have been there for a long time, but as other candidates have mentioned, the province pulled the plug. So it's timely execution that matters. We've given a lot of hope to Bramptonians and we've met them with disappointment. I don't want to disappoint Bramptonians. I want to make sure that plans are executed in a timely fashion and within the mandate of a government.
So that's not true. We have an MOU right now with Guelph Humber. So I'm not sure where you're getting your information. Again, I would say that people have to do their fact checks. We have an MOU. We're working with them. There's information that we can't share, which is private. Negotiations are still going on, but we're very excited that we have several institutions interested in the city of Brampton.
Sorry, I don't believe that we have a challenge about the university not happening soon enough. We have enough students in our city. I mean, as a resident of wards 3 and 4, I see students in Sheridan College. I see students in Algoma College. And they all talk about how difficult it is to find good quality student housing. When we are bringing in students over here, that is a very vulnerable population. They do not have the backing of the federal government. They come in here with dreams and aspirations, and because they are not voters, that does not mean that we just let them be. We have to try and find a solution where they get they get student housing. They are able to not clog our streets with cars parked outside. The number of complaints I get about that every single time, and I've hardly started running for election, is this illegal parking of cars, is the illegal basements. Everything ties into each other. Our healthcare infrastructure, our road infrastructure, our transit infrastructure. I mean, the transit, we do a great job, and I'm very happy with that. But the reality is, when we are creating more students, we're bringing in more people, we should look at the whole cohesive plan. Where are they going to stay? And all of those things. Sorry.
Almost every day, someone talks about post-secondary education or university in Brampton. So Waterloo, Guelph, Hamilton, they are examples of places that have universities. Parents want to know, why isn't there a university here in Brampton? Why isn't there a school that my kids can go to? Education as an industry would bring more jobs, would bring more opportunity, and would help get the Brampton economy moving. I think if we had brought another institution here, I know that we have some great partners here already. People are asking for another university. We know that one was slated to come and it fell through, and then there was another one slated to come. The residents just want to know if we will be bringing a university in the city of Brampton.
Yeah, you want to answer that?
Again, Algoma University is in our downtown. They've expanded. We've had Toronto Metropolitan Medical School. Sheridan College, really proud of. Sheridan College is right in our ward, right in Ward 4. The job creation, the programs they have, especially in technology, especially in animation, they're right in our ward. So I find it, hard to believe when we talk about there's no post-secondary education. Maybe not post-secondary that you want, but there's post-secondary education in Brampton. And we have exciting news to come with institutions that we have memorandums of understanding with and that currently are looking at Brampton. So it's exciting times going forward, and that's why I want to continue to be regional councillor.
Very quick 10 seconds only.
I really agree with Mr. Martin for the Sheridan College, but just to let you know, that is the most unsafest place nowadays in Brampton. Do you have any answer for that?
Yeah, we've spoken about crime earlier. Yeah,
So just to add to the challenges with housing, if we have more than 20,000 people coming into Brampton, where is the on-campus and off-campus housing? Other candidates have mentioned cities where they have this programs in place. I went to Peterborough for my nursing program, and you know what? I lived off campus, and the university had a partnership with the city that students were able to use. They had supportive housing. We could do a lot of that.
Good point.
Where are those best practices here in Brampton? That's my question to ask, is we've had institutions, private and public, come in Brampton, but they don't have a housing plan. That's a huge, huge challenge for us. That's what we need to address.
I wish everyone was there, but I wish we had more time. Quickly moving on to another very important topic that we get questions quite often, that is the property taxes. There is a confusion. So let's clear the confusion here. Were the property taxes frozen? And what's your idea? Should the property taxes go up? Should we freeze them? Should we decrease them? So yeah, go ahead.
So when people talk of property taxes, we hear two trains of thought. One is we cannot freeze them because our city will suffer. The second is, oh no, our property taxes should increase, or it should freeze. The reality is what we need to focus on is tax stability. And that can only come if we can get enough economic investments into the city, we can get jobs in the city, and that will help make sure that our taxes are stable, but at the same time our revenues increase. People don't realize that our budgets may be $1.1 billion, but our revenues are yet to touch $1 billion. Mississauga crossed that number long back. Our revenues are growing at 15% over the last 7 years. In sharp contrast, Mississauga increased its revenues by 30% in 6 years. We need to make sure that large corporations find Brampton an attractive destination because we have everything. We have the talent, we have the proximity to the airport. I want to make sure that we can increase our revenues without impacting household taxes.
Yeah, got it.
Yeah, the one thing I would say, if we delivered 4 tax freezes in a row, and the council's decision was around being competitive with jurisdictions for job creation. So I went along with it. But one thing I've been very vocal about, when you do a tax freeze, just at the rate of inflation, it's 2.3. You have to find savings of 2.3 inflation to ensure that your tax freeze is sustainable. As a high growth community, it's very hard to do because just our capital expenditures, when it comes to our road repair, when it comes to facilities, when it comes to transit, and I'm so happy that all the candidates find our transit system amazing because that's something we've been very passionate about and that's the investment we've put in. But for us to do that, there has to be some financial restraint. You can't just do a tax freeze. So I'm very proud we did 4 tax freezes. And then at the region, one has to understand that part of your tax bill is the region, is portion of the city. So at the region, it's different types of programs and services. So when we talk about policing, again, I remind everyone, when we say 100 police officers, it's 1% on your tax bill. So at the region, we did a modest increase because it's different services. Waste management, our water bill, for example, is the cheapest in all Ontario. So what we did is there was a slight increase. So essentially when it gets to property tax and competitiveness, one thing I do not like is waste. One thing I do not like is money's not being transparent in the way it's being sent at City Hall. For me, it's almost like going to a church. That money is taxpayers' money. It should be treated as that, should be respected like that. And so that's why I've been very critical when it comes to updating our financial plan. I'm very concerned over the last 4 years. If you look at our budget binders used to be very complete. The last couple of years, and that's why I was very vocal at budget time, is that again, if we're doing a tax freeze, I want to know where we're finding the savings to offset it. So I've been very, very critical on that. I've been a leader as director of audit, I was a chair of audit as well. I've ensured that we did money for value for money audits to ensure that we're getting the best services at the best price and most competitive for our residents.
Yeah,
so to add to that, in one way we're saying that we're for property freezing. The other way we're saying no, we need to make sure that adequacy is there for staffing level and outcome-based policies. So we have to look at something with realism. If cost of everything is going up, the Bramptonian taxpayer is a pragmatic one. If you are charging a tax for building the hospital, that's something that they will account for. But give them a hospital. If you're accounting for regional growth, give them that. If there's a police station that's coming in wards 3 and 4, and people are championing it as a new police station, it's a virtual police station. There's no police officers there. It's that kind of spending that I'm not okay with. We make sure that the programs that we're funding are outcome-based and measured outcomes, right?
That's what we need right now. And if there's a cost associated with it, be transparent with the taxpayer. I'm sure they're more than likely to understand that as the growth happens, there's been years of stagnation. There's a cost of action, but timely action is needed right now.
You know, we're reasonable people. Brampton residents are very reasonable. So when it comes to property taxes, people get their backs up. But if we are honest and explain the true costs of things, and it's about waste. People are very concerned that City Hall is just wasting their money. Everyone works very hard. We know there's inflation. Things are expensive. But if we properly explain what is happening with their tax dollars, what is being paid for, what is being wasted, they have concerns and questions. Who's working at City Hall? What are the salaries? What happened to this $1 million barn? They want to know, what are we doing with their money? If explained to them and they know that their money is being used properly and for good reasons, they will understand a slight increase. But it's about being honest, transparency and integrity, and letting them know exactly how their tax dollars are being spent.
Yeah, and I'm really happy that the candidates want transparency when it comes to our financials, and that's something. What I moved a motion to update our financial plan over the 10 years. I moved a motion to ensure that we bring in the auditor, provincial auditor, to look at in audited statements, to look at where exactly our reserves are, where our financial budget is. I've been very outspoken about that. I think every resident should know exactly where their dollars are going. And when it comes to being competitive, again, and I'm great to hear that our candidates agree that when you're looking at trying to bring fiscal discipline, but at the same time, one has to understand then you can't just bring a tax freeze and keep spending. That doesn't work. If you're doing a tax freeze, then you have to provide some financial discipline to prioritize what exactly residents want. Residents don't want park namings. Residents are tired of flag. Residents want to see their grass cut. They want to see the roads swept. They want to see back to basic services at the city.
But where are these audits? Are they completed? Are they published anywhere? Are they presented to the media? Where are these audits?
Well, thank you, and it's great as the chair of audit. So unfortunately, at the last meeting, we've had councillors who decided not to show up to the audits, and that was a disappointment for me. You know that we did an investigation, financial investigation on, for example, you brought up Brampton U. There was monies that were spent that nothing had been produced. And I would think all the candidates here, exactly what you talked about transparency, would want to know where did that money go for Brampton U? Where did that money go to the consultants and what was produced? Why did council members stop the investigation on Brampton U? So all the candidates here believe in transparency, believe that the residents of Brampton, to stop an investigation where you have a 154-page report that clearly has demonstrative evidence, emails of councillors going to consultants, that to me screams that is what is the issue at the heart. And when we talk about getting along at council, that's something I won't accept. Transparency has to be on our finances, has to be on our decisions, and when it gets to the audits, all our audits should be public. I don't like going into in-camera, and that's something I will continue to do and be a voice, especially when it comes to economic discipline and transparency at the city.
10 seconds for each one of you. We'll start with Raman and then we'll come to you. 10 seconds for each one of you.
I agree that we have the tax freeze in Brampton, and so kind of this current administration, but still Mississauga property taxes are very less than us, you know. So people are more happy there, and still with the freezing in the taxes, still we are crying for everything.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, for me, what I don't understand is the Brampton U is a perfect example. We are using tax dollars to do consultants who take the money, and apparently there is some sort of a scandal. Then we spend more money on other consultants to investigate that. But no one is trying to sit and find out the root cause of how to fix those loopholes. I am very much against spending money after the fact and rather spend some time, some effort into plugging loopholes. Today, contracts are given out at such high rates. Today, the same 5, 10 big businesses are getting most of the contracts. We have no idea how it is happening. I've read all the financial reports since 2016 onwards, both from Brampton and Mississauga. We don't even have a 2021 FIR on the Brampton City website. For me, I have to extrapolate information and try and understand it from my financial auditing and accounting degree to understand what is happening. They all put under user fees and things like that.
Thank you. 10 seconds.
So just to add to that, it's been 8 years of one kind of leadership that we've had, right? And we still have garbages that aren't picked up. We still have roads that need to be fixed. We still have
traffic intersections that need to be studied. And if the taxpayer dollars were actually spent on programming and asking the residents, the programming that's put forward actually is giving you the outcome that you're looking for in the quality of life, you would have an answer. And right now, Brampton's saying, no, our taxes are being taken, but we don't get any quality service out of them that every other municipality is expecting. I want people that are my age and younger than me to choose Brampton as their home. Right now, actually, they are not. And that is the biggest challenge that we're going to face as a city,
right,
and ensure with that.
Good points made. We quickly have to move to our next topic. This is quite interesting. Thank you so much. The next topic we're going to discuss is integration. One of the things that we have been witnessing across the globe, populist statements, identity politics being played, and I think we need to focus on the common denominators, which is education, infrastructure, healthcare, transparency, accountability. But then here we see a lot of populist statements going across. And how are we going to bring people? Are we going to just issue divisive statements, or are we going to bring the people together? We have people from different countries of origin, different ethnicities, they speak different language. So I want to listen to your ideas. How would you bring people together? Yeah.
I think there's a prime example of that in my practice and what I've done in government so far is culturally competent care. Culturally competent care means to see where people are at, see their lived experiences, and channel that in service delivery. We can do that by providing culturally competent individuals in different cultures represent in City Hall and city programming and city staff, and that's one way to address it. The other aspect of it is to allow people to be themselves, feel like Brampton's home. I feel like Brampton's home, other people feel like Brampton's home. Let's nourish that idea and expand it out. Give funding to all the different cultural programmings equally, so they all have their ability to take the downtown core.
But how long can you do that? There could be 100 different cultures.
100%.
So 100 different cultures. Do we have enough funding to support all those 100?
So I think the ingenuity will come from the residents themselves. I'll give the example of the Nepali community we're staying for. They've been there for 25 years, but I've yet to see any sort of integration of the Nepali community in City Hall or in government. That's something that we definitely need. How can we do that? That big ask for them is a cricket stadium or a cricket field and a soccer field named after them. So they're businesses that sponsor. Government's job is to make cohesive decisions with business sector, government sector, and see that representation. We can facilitate that.
I think how about we bring them collectively like Canada Day?
100%.
It's common for all, rather than I give funding for X community, Y community, Z community.
Because you cannot.
There is an endless list of all that, and I'm there for the photo op, and I'm giving all these, organizations, and I'm there for a photo op. Okay, I give you the funding, but no, here is Canada Day. You all come together. Let's all come together from all backgrounds, all ethnicities. Let's do that rather than I support a group for my vote bank politics. That's the question I'm asking.
Yeah, I think we can start by making sure that even council itself brings that diverseness into council, because our city is growing. There's a huge immigrant population in the city, but where is their voice on city council? I'm running for that. Is one of the many reasons I'm running. I feel that a lot of people are misunderstanding who immigrants are. Like Raman just said, they are the ones who come, and I took deep umbrage to that. The reality is, immigrants are not one kind of people. They are very different. There are people who come with PhDs. There are people who come as skilled labor. Everyone has a different journey getting to here. But when they come here, Brampton is home. And I agree with you, people should come together. People think that by creating separate spaces for each, you're being inclusive. You're actually being exclusive. The reality is no one is asking for it. Everyone wants to come together and live as Bramptonians. They just want one thing. When they go out and they say, I am from Brampton, people should look at them with respect for that. And that is not happening, and I want to change that.
Thank you, Martin.
Yeah, thank you very much. And thank you for recognizing the police community. I'm really proud to have many community leaders on my campaign and having endorsed me, so thank you. When we get to, for example, this whole politics, one of the comments I made at City Hall, and I know you really appreciated it because we talked about it on your show, the religion and aspect, people want City Hall to govern. People should not have to deal with the identity politics. It's not a place for us to be playing divisiveness. And right now, what you're finding, especially when it comes to religion, even park namings, we're doing park namings, we're doing things now at the city, and now I think we've gone beyond. One of the things, for example, there was a whole attempt to do Christian Day at the city. I'm Christian. We have Christmas. for us to start getting into now recognizing these type of days, it's not bringing Bramptonians together. When you brought up the Canada Day, we used to have a Brampton Festival. It was called the Celebration of Brampton, the Celebration Brampton Parade. That's what we need to bring back. We need to find ways to bridge everyone together. We need to find ways that City Hall should not be about, cultural programs should be for civil society, and I know community groups look towards the city for support. But we really have to get back to what is the purpose of City Hall? What is the purpose of the municipality? What is the purpose of the region appeal? And we really have to take a step back and look at what are we doing with all these park namings? What are we doing with the way that we play cultural groups? But at the same time, one of the pressures that we feel, community groups want to come to City Hall because City Hall belongs to them. People want to do their celebrations there. So we have to provide an avenue and a space to say, yes, we can do this, but the whole politics around it, and that's what I'm seeing the concern. I see more divisiveness in our community, and we have to stop that.
Yeah, I'll come to you quick, and then I'll come to you.
My simple comment is we have no room for divisiveness in Brampton. It doesn't matter what you look like, your skin color, the language you speak, the faith you practice. We are all neighbors. We are all Brampton residents, and we all love the city and need to get along and work harmoniously together. That's it. For me, that's all it is.
So I'll give an example. During COVID on the Social Support Task Force, we have people from every different ethnicity, every different race, every different religion, working hand in hand, making sure Brampton got the supports that needed. That's the cultural component care that I'm talking about. That's how government can show that inclusivity and also recognizing the mosaic, the beautiful mosaic that Brampton is.
And anybody wants to jump in this one, as much as diversity and inclusion is important, but what about competent people bringing on board? So are we going to bring in inclusiveness and diversity at the cost of competent people? That's my question. I'm just throwing a question.
I'll answer that. Thank you for the question. I think merit is the bar that everything needs to be looked through. Yes, there's representation that needs to happen as well, but merit is the bare minimum bar. After that, then we see which marginalized group or which group doesn't have representation in certain decision-making stakeholder tables that we desperately need, because Brampton is a growing community and it changes as time goes by. First, we had different waves of immigration. Now we have different waves of immigration, and Brampton's going to be home for a lot of immigrants, and I want that to be an inclusive space for everyone from all over the world.
Thank you. Very interesting discussion. That moves to our last question for our open. So I'll just keep it concise. Youth and seniors, we just have 2 minutes for this one. Youth and seniors, I'll request everyone to just take 20 seconds or less. Yeah, go ahead. And who was
very quickly, really proud to have moved Brampton's first youth hubs. Right at Susan Fennell Sports Complex, we will have a youth hub, which not only will be a drop-in program center, but also provide those type of social supports, employment supports, skills training, social services offered at the thing. The first time in Brampton's history, I was proud to lead that initiative. The second thing when it comes to seniors, I sit on Brampton Seniors Council. I recognize how important seniors are. We've passed the first jurisdiction in all of Canada to provide free transit for seniors. We want to keep them active. And we also now looked at 70 years old. We passed a motion that seniors over 70 years old do not pay for recreation at the City of Brampton. We're leading edge, we're leaders, and I'm proud to continue to be on Brampton Seniors Council.
Anyone else? Yeah, go ahead, Amit.
The challenge that we're having for the seniors right now is giving supportive housing. Last year, Region Appeal gave me $1.8 million to start a low-income seniors program, and that's something that I will channel my energies through and have those pilot projects all across. For the youth, they need something to do, and the programming needs to be connected with the city. The Nurturing Neighborhoods program is a great program where we can connect with different levels of government, different departments as well, to ensure that the right programming is there for the needs and the wants that the youths have.
As I told in the beginning that whosoever comes to Canada, first of all, they must know what is there, because unless we don't tell them this is a country for every religion. If we don't tell them, how they will know about it? So we have to educate from the day one. The moment we educate, they know we are in all the communities are welcomed here, and they have to respect everyone. That has to be the main challenge for us.
Yeah, quick 10 seconds. 10 seconds.
I just was very upset with the way things were played out during COVID, especially because wards 3 and 4 houses some of the most senior vulnerable population. I believe we could have done a lot more. We are a very reactive society rather than being proactive, and that is something I want to bring to the table.
All right, 10 seconds.
More affordable housing for our seniors, and definitely 2 populations that are important that we look after and take care of. So these programs that we're having are great. If we can do any more, let's do it.
Very quickly, right in wards 4, we attracted what is called gave Vietnamese community affordable housing from the federal government, major investment, $30 million for affordable housing directed at seniors and long-term care beds. Really proud of that investment.
Thank you. Thank you. Wish we had more time. That's the end of today's debate. I'll give each one of you 1 minute for your closing remarks. Thank you so much. Amik, we'll start with you.
Brampton, it's time that we choose and come out and vote. I know people have pulled on heartstrings in the past on issues, but there's action that I've taken as a resident, and I want to take that same level of action as your regional councillor. Out of frustration, I became an advocate, and out of frustration, again, I'm seeking your job. You are my boss. If you like my resume, the candidate card that comes to your door, have a look at it, have a conversation with me, and if you like me, please hire me as your regional councillor, and please come out and vote. Thank you.
Mr. Rahman.
I request all the people that so many pot shops are open in Brampton, and I don't know why. When I asked a person responsible in the city hall, he said it's a province issue. Then I told the gentleman, Mississauga is also in the same province. How Mississauga doesn't have any pot shops? And my first job will be to make it sure that there should not be any more pot shops in the Brampton city. Put a seal on that, and then rest of the thing will be done, and you will see the difference. When people like me will be there, the difference will be automatically seen by people there. Please vote for me.
Very quickly, thank you to the candidates for participating in this debate, and thank you to Y Media for hosting it. I certainly am someone that you can trust. I'm certainly someone that provides leadership. I've showed you that leadership, and I'm someone that has the integrity and the experience. Someone who has over 14 years public service experience. I know the work, I've done the work, I work hard. My family and friends live in your ward, are your neighbors. I am your neighbor, and I hope that you will support me on October 24th.
Thank you.
Yep. After 8 years, I believe it's time for some fresh perspective and new energy. I want you to take a look at my website. It details, which I cannot show in 1 minute, but it explains in detail what I want to do for our city. The reality is Brampton is a beautiful place. We chose this because the potential is unlimited, and I want to unlock that potential. I want downtown Brampton to regain its lost glory, and I want to ensure that when we return to work, jobs are here and not an hour away.
All right, thank you. Andrea.
Ask yourself, in the last 8 years, have things gotten better in your neighborhood and in the city, or worse? Really ask yourself that question. If you think they are fine, vote for the same person. If you think they are worse, vote for change. I feel like change is in the air. Wherever you travel in the city of Brampton, there's an energy and there's a buzz and there's optimism. People want a better Brampton. We deserve a better Brampton. We need people and councillors and representatives at City Hall that will advocate for us, that will fight for us at all levels of government, that will listen to us and help answer any of the problems or challenges that we're going through, that will help Brampton become the best city in Canada. We can do it. On October 24th, vote for me, Andrea Barrett, to be the regional councillor in wards 3 and 4.
Andrea, thank you so much. Quinn, thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Martin, thank you so much. Raman, thank you so much. Hamik, thank you so much. It was really interesting to hear all those discussion, and I think our crew is also loving that. They're continuously giving these messages. They're really enjoying every bit of it. Thank you so much. Wish we had more time. Hopefully, we'll carry on the discussion even after the elections. I wish all of you all the best on behalf of Y Media. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you so much. That's all the time that we have for today. I hope you enjoyed today's discussion, October 24th. That's the date you could cast your vote. Of course, there are advanced polling date as well. Thank you so much. Keep watching Channel Y. Stay tuned with Y Media. Thank you.
Hi, this is Priyanka Chopra and you're watching Channel Y.
The biggest South Asian media group, Y Media.
Y Media Group, established in 2001, is a media company with a 360-degree approach in reaching our audience over 5 platforms: television, radio, newspaper, online news portal, and mobile app.
Y Media has newspaper, midweek, radio, South Asian pop.
Hi, I'm Amitabh Bachchan and you're listening to South Asian Pulse.
Hi, this is Amir Khan and you're listening to South Asian Pulse.
अब हर दिन सुने GTA का #1 रेडियो स्टेशन FM 91.9.
All English 24/7 television network and Y Media Plus.